record. Great. Good evening, everybody. This is the Executive Committee meeting for Manhattan Community Board 1. My name is Tammy Meltzer, Chair of the Community Board. It is 7:25. We're calling the meeting to order. Please take a look in the chat to sign in so people, we can have your attendance records right. And a gentle reminder that Lucy did send out the meeting minutes and the attendance records from last month. So I am asking all of my lovely peeps to make sure that you have checked for yourselves. And as a reminder, that becomes important because CB applications are now live and open. We've sent emails to everybody, and if you are up for renewal, you should have gotten yours. Okay.
We got an email. That means we're up for renewal.
Yes, you should know, because if you didn't apply and get reappointed this year in 2022, then you should be expiring in 2023. So if not, please reach out to Andrew Chang or reach out to me and I'll forward you the note for you. No problem. All righty, let's take a look at this Governor's Island Climate Center debrief. The resolution that we put together is really, it was a hard one to do. I will definitely say this was a bit of a labor of love. And I say that because we've done so much work on this in the past, in 2020, when we did such with the rezoning and everything else, that there's a lot to really consider and take a look here. So we tried to include everything we could going back to 2020, including what the deed says from 2003, what the community board has come out on and said, and what our principles were for the island. So kind of go through all of that, and it bears repeating, because if you had the opportunity to go to the sessions, there were 3 different, wildly different presentations. There was no detail on the financing, but you could see the packaging of things. So for example, some of them relied on 51% of commercial revenue to fund themselves, which included hotel and long-term stays, versus educational, which is a conversation to be had, and prioritizing long-term stays, which we have stood on record saying Governor's Island was not supposed to be that, which also has a financial downside. If you're a long-term stay at a hotel, then you don't pay the same taxes and things like that that you would have for a regular hotel stay, which thus deprives the city of additional revenue, which I don't think is a good thing for where we were going. So take a look through. I can share my screen, or Lucian, can you share screen so you can see? We're going to run through it as much as we can. Yeah. Wendy, I'll get to you in just a sec. Let's get Lucian to get up the report, if you don't mind. And I'm signing into my own attendance sheet. Okay. All righty, so here we go. Thank you, Lucian. A little bit larger would be fantastic. And for those who were wondering if you're up for an appointment, Lucian did drop into the chat the chart of who's expiring when, so you can just take a look at that yourselves. Okay. All righty. So we're gonna slowly roll up. When I get to page 2 or 3, I'll start with some questions for people who want to do this. Some of this should be very familiar to the things that have been said over the many courses of meetings that we've had on Governor's Island. We put in the long-term stays, the heights in excess of the historic building typologies. There was There are 3 proposals. One has an extraordinarily tall tower. And again, this is only the climate center. It bears repeating because the commercial tenants that they're looking to anchor will be taller towers as of right, based on zoning. But all righty,
Yeah,
so
so just really quick, Tammy, I think the whereases that have the principles, there's gonna be about 4. Those are definitely ones that the committee should really dig into and review, is my recommendation.
exactly. So we have spoken about this reuse of the existing island structures, as many as possible, with minimal addition to the carbon footprint through demo and construction, keeping the North Island historic fundamentally intact. That gives still availability to, they showed in some of the presentations, adaptive reuse of Liggett Hall and how that would work. The 2022 public benefit use. Okay. The use groups are not exploitative. Open space. Keep going. Don't encroach on Picnic Point. That was a large topic that we discussed many times. Keep going. Open space does not include the calculation of open space associated with enlarged Yankee Pier and an addition of the roadways for circulation. Because if people remember in the presentations, that did. And we were talking open space in terms of recreational or quiet space, not transportation space. Maximum access to water-related public recreation use and maritime opportunities, which adhere to, so therefore that our coastline on Governor's Island is not privatized. We have seen where they are potentially looking to put in research opportunities for research vessels and things like that. That's super cool, but have not seen, other than one proposal, a place where there is public access on the climate center area. Public streets are open, multiple uses of modes of movement, buttermilk channel. And so now we're down to EPC dialogue, environmental and sustainable, self-powered, sustainable, least carbon impact in demolition and construction, highest value of adaptive reuse versus demolition. Consider and understand the public should understand if the Army Corps of Engineer program and the LMCR plans will impact the project, and especially with the ferry uses, how that will work together. All right. Proposals that best address the public's concern: large-scale development is neither climate-friendly nor resilient. Most open green space in addition to existing parks, green infrastructure. Keep going. Knowing where that it's here and not a building that could be placed anywhere in the world. A proposal that shows a commitment to stop global warming. There is nothing actually in any of the proposals about that, or anything that prioritizes fewer greenhouse gas emissions or utilizing renewable energy. There is a lot of conversation about putting gas out on the island thus far. The FARs, and then the financial general principles. We did not see any of the financials. They were not shared with the public. That is still private as part of the RFP process. We were eligible to see only percentage mixes for financial kind of modeling of how it might be possible for them to make money or not. Okay. Now, the one thing that we need to ensure that we add in here is, that they work with all existing vendors with a time and commitment, or to a minimum time commitment. So if we want to put in a time commitment, we can. If not, we could just say that existing vendors on the island, that they will work with them and they will not displace them. All right, keep going. I think we're close to the end, right? Financial, yeah, yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay, now, so once we get through all of this, we get down to thanking them for the greater engagement and urging the trust to consider our solutions principles to guide the next step in the procurement process and future development of the development zones. So with all that, let's hit the hands up and see where we're going. Jason Friedman, you're first.
Sorry, I was having trouble. I just wondered, did it come up in any of the proposals, or like did they explicitly say that it was off the table to like expand the island in any way? And is that something that we don't want, meaning where, people start to build new land that wasn't there before, kind of thing?
Actually, all three proposals had that.
I see. Do we like that? Is it necessary? Is it
One
good for
was,
the environment?
that's one thing that they couldn't tell us. One had a salt marsh, and we're doing testing for salt marsh growth for organics. That was in, another one had a research area that kind of rip-wrapped out connecting to the new Yankee Pier and a research boat. I could be muddling them, but they all had something that changed the edge of the island
Would we want to
expansively.
go as far to say that we don't want the edge to be changed and landfilled for the sake of building structures? I mean, the things that you just talked about sound, a little bit sexier than the idea of someday, or if they don't hear from us, they're gonna, take land, start filling it in, make 10-story buildings on one part, and
There was
you know,
no expansion of the land for
hmm,
development. It was
okay,
every one of them. It doesn't mean that we couldn't put it in there that says, we support educational and research solutions for the edge as long as there's a full connection, and that new development buildings are not put on new land in the water, if
hmm.
that's where you're going.
I'm also, I mean, personally, I don't like the idea of, giving people that opportunity in that kind of section. But if people thought in general, or it had come up in any of these meetings, it was a benefit, I wouldn't like, not here, just put a flag in the ground and say like, no, it shouldn't happen. But it seems like these things always go in that direction. And then someone builds, more land so they can build more buildings. And, then we're so far away from any of the things that, I think the island was intended to do. But I'll be quiet.
Okay. Susan, then Wendy.
I happen to agree with Jason, and I think we should put it in. I hate all three plans, but I want to commend you for the struggle and how you did it. It's not easy, but I just think I don't know how without angering people or whatever. Uh, all of it just makes no sense. But that's all I want to say.
Yeah, I actually think that when you're talking about climate change and global warming,
And
large
resiliency
and resiliency, large development is not, yeah.
I mean, it absolutely is delusional, but I don't think we can put that in our resolution.
I-
But I really want to commend everybody. I know it was a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Thank you, Susan. Wendy Chapman, you're next.
So I echo everything that Susan was going to say because I was going to say that as well. And I wanted to just also, I sat through, I didn't pay super close attention, but I did listen to all those plans, and I just started getting more and more upset when I was listening to it, just that it's so out of touch with reality. I think all of us had that reaction. But I just wanted to say, like, could we use some of the Army Corps' own data that this is not going to be in their plans that they showed us, and that, we don't want them to put 8 to 10 feet of soil all over Governor's Island I think that there's a real possibility that not only just expanding out, but there may be expanding up. I don't know, can we say we don't want that as well? And then one other small point is that when Plus Pool was looking for locations,
Mhm.
this was the far side was the only part on Governor's Island where the Plus Pool could go for currents and everything else. So, I'm sure there is some really interesting things that could be done in the water, but maybe it could float and attach to what's currently there and not expand the land. I'm not sure, but I know the wetlands are a different concept, but hats off to how well written this is, and I'm so happy you went back to a lot of the original things, because I'm with all of you. This has never made any sense to me in any way.
Well, I will say that we can shout out to Atlas, who's not here tonight. She did a lot of heavy lifting on the comparison back to the original resolution we did for Governor's Island, which, as you know, we ended up having George, Jane, and Diana with. So, I mean, this really is about being able to have really good foundation from really robust work that was done early on. So that's two. So I think Wendy, Jason, both hands are still up. Roger Manning, I'm going to come to you next. I do think that we can put something in here that says any extensions into the water should not be done for buildings. How's that? For commercial
do it for
and
Marsh
Lucian?
that, but they won't do it to put a hotel on. Is that the point?
Yes, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether you want to just say any extensions should only be for to ensure the environment or
Yeah, that's better. because
to ensure the environment and resiliency in some way. You know what I mean? There shouldn't be anything there,
Yeah.
for God's sakes. Pardon me, but
Well,
anyway.
Yeah.
I would imagine that. I mean, I think putting landfill in the water requires an enormous number of different like levels of review.
Don't
You know,
don't, when money is involved, Lucian, don't you just, if it's, there's nothing wrong with putting it in. Jason is right. Omitting it is the real piece, which gets us stuck somehow. And since we're only advisory, you should pardon me. I think that let's
Yeah.
just do it.
I'm fine with that. I have no issues with that. None whatsoever. It definitely goes into the conversations we're having. Okay. And we can put that under environmental proposal is yeah. And a proposal that ensures that anything that expands the coastline beyond its current borders does not include development and is done with science and purposes.
Well, resiliency maybe, or
Science, resiliency, climate change.
climate change protections.
Right.
That's it.
I'm going to recognize Roger Manning. Before Roger gets unmuted, he represents Magic for all of you who remember that, and he can give us an update on his status. Onej or Lucian, would you please unmute him? Ask him. There you go, Roger, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Yes, Roger Manning here from Metro Area Governors Island Coalition Magic. I sent a sort of overview or review of comments sent previously when I filled in the form. Not sure if that's helpful, but in terms of what you're talking about, the edge of the island being changed for landfill and such, from what I recall, at least one of the proposals, everything was basically inside what's the promenade. So even the wetlands they were considering and stuff like that, it's inside the promenade. Although we didn't see all that in the presentations from the trust because they showed you quote unquote phase one of these 3 proposals, and that's it's just like I think y'all have been saying is that there was a lack of information with which to try to sort everything out, and that was part of it. Yeah, and I think it would be really awesome if you could put some language in your proposal that with concern to what a few of the members have just said. It's whether or not, and the main question is whether or not a climate center should even be, there should even be such a project on Governor's Island. Why is large private development on public land the only option, et cetera, et cetera. So in other words, it's something like, we'd rather see nothing, or why, or whatever your objection is. And then meanwhile, and then the rest of the resolution, which, yes, I agree, this is really excellent language in this resolution. And the other key thing that I reiterated in the text that we resent today is building heights. I know you have your reasons for this 125-foot figure, but in our letter to CB1, we urged you to re-examine the 2013 special zoning that was applied to the historic, or the north part of the island, which expanded usage that was allowed, but it kept building heights to basically 35 feet and 60 feet for some buildings. So like a 60-foot height would be much better. I'm not expecting that you'll agree with that, but I want to throw that out there. And I'm almost done here. Sorry, I'm just looking at the. Yeah, the key issue here is whether, with the Climate Center for Climate Solutions or any other large development on Governor's Island, is that it should not be prioritized over maintaining the island's primary benefit to the public, which is, as this awesome environment that exists now and how it serves the community. And proposal number 1 was by far the best or / least bad from Magic's viewpoint. Just throwing that in there too. And the whole thing they keep bringing up, I guess you're not addressing this in your resolution, but they keep bringing up that Governor's Island as a cash cow for the city's economic engine. This whole thing about the $1 billion for the city economy and the 7,000 jobs. They, I don't know where they get the data for that, but that's not what the Governor's Island, the purpose of Governor's Island, as even the deed requires that any income generated on an island from the Climate Center or anything else is supposed to stay on the island or go towards the expenses of the island. But I think,
Roger, we did address that a little bit.
oh, you did? Oh, good.
Because we talk about the most favorable financing scheme, assuring city, state, and federal funding, as well as private funding. We also talk about the taxes, because if you put in nothing but a climate center that is fully educational, that is a tax-free building, and then you allow long-term stays in the hotels,
Right.
and you're actually depriving the city of any kind of taxes and the state that go with that. So we do address that kind of financial review, asking that they take a look at that and look at the modeling. So we do have that. We do prioritize open space. We do prioritize lower
excellent
density
language.
buildings.
Yeah.
All of this we have spoken on before, so we are reminding in some ways the trust of where we stand for their review of these buildings. And we did come out, whether we liked it or not, as a majority vote saying, yeah. So.
Yeah, well, and the last note, of course, is something that Community Board 1 has been saying all along, is the main concern from the public, aside from building heights, is the degree of privatization of the space there. But anyway, thank you.
Exactly. We put that out there because
you did, yeah.
Yeah, you can't, no one in their right mind as a member of the public would look at a sidewalk or a cattle call way as you get off the ferry terminal and call that open public space It's I understand it's included in their calculations. It's just not what the general public
Yeah, it's
understands as open
really
space.
infuriating to hear the trust keep kind of, characterize it that way. But anyway, again, really great work on this resolution. Thanks for y'all putting in so much time on this.
My pleasure.
Oh,
Okay,
and
Trish.
did you
Tricia,
want
you're
to, and the lawsuit initially was, the first judge has dismissed our lawsuit, but we've already filed the notice of appeal. So that's ongoing in terms of trying to overturn the 2021 rezoning.
Well, thank you, and keep us informed.
Yes.
Alrighty, Tricia, you're next.
Can everybody hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Hello? Oh, good. I'm on a different computer. I don't know whether what Susan and Wendy said needs any more support, but I wanted to give it if it did. Susan, I could not agree with your points more. Every single one of them, even the wording of that friendly amendment. I think, one thing I've learned is looking down the road here as far as we can with this resolution in terms of everything we've learned that's gone wrong in similar things that the city moves to do is only going to benefit us. So I too am concerned about appendages into the water. I'm concerned about the sunlight on the fields from a youth perspective. I think that the proposed height I calculated to be about 14 stories. Did they ever talk about stories in these buildings?
They didn't talk stories. They did have an overall height. So one was, I think the shortest one was 85 feet, and the tallest one was in the 400s. And I asked whether or not that included, things like mechanical and lift, 16-foot lift for resiliency, but they did not tell me.
Because
And
150
frankly, I
is-
got yelled at.
Yeah. Well, 150 is really different than 400. And I think that if a plan comes in with 400, I would have a lot of trouble with that because that would mean between October and March, you're going to have shadows on the fields. So that's my perspective on that. I think it could be worth looking at a little bit more closely. The loss of light in terms of the recreation aspects of that open field area is significant in my view. Thank you.
We can certainly put something on their environmental, that the environmental impacts of shade and sunlight and effects on the open spaces, active and passive, are considered.
Mhm.
And
One of
maybe
the
impact on wildlife, birds alone,
Yeah.
impact on wildlife, we can add that as well. One of the things, Tricia, the other we kind of have on here that I wanted to note, as long as you're saying it, the proposal ensures the opportunity to work with all existing vendors on the island versus replacing them outright, and ensure they are not excluded from the future of the climate center. It was not lost on me that some of the programs that talked about working with the school on the island basically was summer camp based and not connecting to the harbor school. One had a very strong connection, including those and including students overall, but another one all talked about programming, but when you dug a little deeper, their programming when it came to anyone below college age level was field trips and summer camps. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the further away you get from those tall buildings, the better the angle is. And for Harbor School, that's good news, but they still are on the south side of the island. It's a shadow casting situation that, every 3 or 4 stories you go can change a couple weeks of light and, in that position. If it was on the other end of the island, we wouldn't be having this conversation, but being on that end of the island, it is definitely something I think we should be considering.
Yep. The other thing that they didn't sadly talk about was every one of the proposals that we looked at. There's a development parcel, a half moon shape beyond that's further inland than where the climate center proposals are, and there's another one south. So it could be surrounded by tall towers. There's no saying that it wouldn't be anywhere.
And
in
that's
this.
the composting and the chickens and all that stuff, that light matters.
100%. So the range is actually, again, I'm always looking for the language, right? Because we get this loosey-goosey language always coming from people who are looking to, try to slide under the radar. And our history, at least, has been that the worst case scenario has always been what happens. And so I think with that in mind, maybe we could say something about, could we narrow down this height? Because 150 feet is, not the impact. I mean, that's, 12 stories. No, it's not even 12, it's like 10 feet or 10 stories. So, I mean, that isn't going to have a huge impact. 400 feet will. And so I think it is worth discussing. As Wendy said, in addition to the fields, we have all kinds of, other considerations in terms of what they have on the island, what they're planning to put on the island in terms of, things like the chicken coops.
Got it. Okay. All right. I see no other hands up. I'm a little surprised, but awfully pleased.
Can I call the question?
And I'm going to second it. Absolutely. So we're going to run by affirmation. I'm going to assume everybody's a yay. I need everybody's cameras on, though, who's voting. So Justine, Betty, Jason, Mariama, Rosa. Cameras on? Even if I'm looking at your ceiling or the top of your eyes. There we go. Hey, Patrick. All right. Jason, I like the hat. All right. So with that, I'm going to assume everybody's a yay. Do I hear any nays? Do I hear any abstentions? Any recusals?
Patrick Cannell recused.
Thank you, Patrick. And just for everybody's sake, Patrick has to recuse because he is appointed to the board by Assemblymember New. So unless he gets appointed by Grace, maybe, I don't know. Charles, he'll be back to voting.
And my term's not up yet. I'll still be recusing for a while.
Okay. All right. With that note, motion passes. Thank you very much. Unanimous with one recusal. Committee reports. Unless you feel your committee is going to light something on fire at the full board, and I truly mean on fire, we don't need to go through much. Mariama does have her hand up. Are you lighting us on fire? Uh-oh. Okay. Go for it, Mariama. Tell me tell us how.
So the Quality of Life Committee passed a resolution in October in support of Senator Schumer, including $3 billion for the World Trade Center Health Clinic in the omnibus bill.
Mm-hmm.
And today it was reported that he had not included $3 billion in the omnibus bill and won't be doing anything. It was supposed to either go into omnibus or defense. It had been listed in the omnibus bill, but it was pulled out, and we will not be getting that money. It's going to have to go into the next Congress. So I think that if we're able, maybe Lucian can reach out to the senator's office in the morning. I think they need to send somebody from their New York office to our board meeting tomorrow night and explain what the hell, because this is completely unacceptable. This money was promised. It's ironic because the anniversary just passed, 2016. I was in DC, lobbying for this money, and it was approved. And now here I am again. I getting calls today. People offering me train and bus tickets. I got to go to DC again. I mean, this is outrageous. This money was supposed to be there through 2090. So
let's see if we can get Schumer's office in. Let's work with Lucian and see who and what we can get in. Maybe Nadler's office has comment. perhaps, or something similar. I don't disagree at all. It's,
But Mariama, do you have
Mhm.
a sense of whether the House side is moving to do anything?
So right away, people jumped into action, and what's supposed to happen is it's going to go into the next Congress and Senate, and Kirsten Gillibrand and a Republican senator out of Long Island, I believe he is, Garabino, who has supported all along. I don't want to make it seem like he's just now getting involved. They're going to be the ones. I think he's in Congress and she's in the Senate, and they're going to be the ones to champion the bill moving forward and hopefully get it through the new Republican Congress in the next session.
Thank you.
thank you. All right, Betty, and then Justine.
Yeah, my hand is up because we have a resolution in transportation and we always seem to have a firestorm no matter how big or little the resolution is. So I'm just pointing out this one is going to be on improving last mile e-commerce freight delivery. It passed by a high margin, but so did last month, and we don't need another hour of debate. So if everyone would at least come very prepared reading the resolution, and by all means, email me if you have a question in advance so we can try to not lengthen tomorrow's meeting.
Awesome, Betty. Well, you know what? I think we're going to put you up early. So it's not the end of the night, it's the beginning of the night, and people are fresh and fruity. And that'll be fantastic. So people are, a little less spicy, a little bit more.
Mellow.
And we all want to go home early. So we'll put that up earlier. I will say that I did talk about the bill, the resolution as we passed it in committee at Borough Board, because there is a lot of conversation about last mile delivery throughout every borough, and specifically in Manhattan, where, there are parts on the Lower East Side you can't even walk down the street. So, yeah.
Yes, and I have one other kind of off point, and that was merely to mention, you had asked if my building put forward a comment on the EIS for the scoping for the environmental impact statement, and they did submit one today about the Battery Park City ferry dock and the movement of it.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It came through right before this meeting. Yeah, I'm delighted because it all needs to be said.
Yep.
So
And they
thank
did a
you.
good job with it. It was pretty comprehensive. So yeah, very well done.
Which, Justine, as long as you've unmuted yourself, you're next. Keep going.
Thank you. Yeah, no. So it actually relates to what Betty's talking about to some degree. So yes, they made their comments. I just was going to remind Lucian that he needs to get us, especially the environmental and the Battery Park City Committee, the changes that Alice made, so we could have them for review. And if we're going to talk about anything or change anything or whatever else. So I don't know. The only thing I can think of that could potentially be somewhat controversial with what she was suggesting, and again, I don't think it really is, but maybe it just gets toned down, was about the design element. And I have to read it again to see if I really even think that.
It's all Justine going to be given as a series of amendments.
Yep.
To the resolution that Battery Park City has now been distributed for everybody for review for full board. So
do we have the amendments though? Or
It'll,
we don't have it yet?
remember,
I'll send out the completed amendments as discussed in EPC to everyone for review. Justine,
Thank
would
you.
you like to? Yeah. And then Justine, at the meeting, you can obviously, discuss that if
Yeah,
so when the motion is made, it can be made whatever is,
yeah, we'll walk you through it.
mutually
We'll
beneficial.
get there.
Perfect.
All
That
right.
makes sense.
And
Thank you.
Betty and Justine, God forbid, in the order, I forget to get to Lucy by tomorrow morning. Please remind me when we're in the meeting that the two of you are going 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Okay.
1
yes.
and 2.
1
Pat?
and 2.
You're next.
Thank you.
Totally off topic. I will not be at the meeting tomorrow night. Mariama is going to present. But at quality of life, we had the borough, it was, our discussion was mainly supposed to be about the deconstruction of the jail. But of course, it kind of filtered into questions again about totally scrapping, deconstructing the building. And I had to try to rein it back in because it was supposed to be about deconstruction of the building. And Alice sent you a long email citing all of the issues. And so we wanted to we wondered if next month we could bring this discussion that is not about deconstruction, but about what's going on in Rikers Island and how it might pertain to, changing the project. Can we bring it to exec next month?
Sure, no problem. I mean, I'll
can have
put
a
it out there
conversation.
saying that my concerns as a member, as a chair, is with the current situation, with the current mayor, the rising number of people being incarcerated and the numbers as we've seen them, we definitely need to have a conversation. And perhaps it's time that, Staten Island takes their fair share of the criminal justice system, because we can't, everybody has to do their fair share. If everybody's getting a homeless shelter, let everybody get, a
That
part of
borough-based jail.
Right.
Exactly.
With the rise of ferries and everything, there's no reason that we can't figure something out. So every borough has a place that people can see their families.
Yep.
But
And
this
if we're going to
conversation is a
talk
little-
about it that way, let's make sure we invite Fall and ask him if he wants to,
Gee, it'd be great if he'd come.
But this conversation is a little bit more than that. And also, I think then we need to have somebody from the mayor's office to come
Mark
and
J.
discuss this with us. So anyway, I
I
just
was
wanted to bring
reporting
that up.
yesterday with the mayor promising to close Rikers by 2027. That was in the
commitment is
Times
there.
yesterday.
Yeah. And so be it. But I don't want to, we've stood long and hard in this community. We've passed many, many resolutions. We've stood many times with our neighbors in Chinatown and in CB3. We do not want to see a building that's a mega tall jail. We don't want the mega. We have economic opportunities to be able to spread services out, to be able to use the Class B and C, office buildings that are around, Class A. I mean, people aren't in as much as they used to be. So we have opportunities to spread some of those services. And there's an opportunity that Staten Island can take a fair share of housing, so we don't have to have another 500 beds or 1,000 beds above what necessarily we need.
But also remember that now they're moving ahead. And so the only thing that will delay them is bad weather and, the holidays. So we need to have this discussion fairly soon. And again, like I said, reach out to the mayor's office and bring in some of our other elected officials. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Send a note to Lucian. We'll see who we can get lined up and whether they come to Quality of Life and I come and support you there, or they come to executive.
I think it needs to
either
come
way.
to executive because I think it needs to be everyone on the board is involved in this.
Some of the issues about like toxins, some are noise, some are, it's all kinds of stuff. It's not, toxins are quality of life too, but
But I think it should be
environmental,
exact so that
Okay.
everybody's involved.
All righty. So I think with that, I've got all my committee. Let me give you a couple updates from the chair. One, we represented, and you'll hear more about it. Lucian went to the opening of the exonerated gates at Central Park. That is an example of chair collaboration. We supported, our community board sisters and brothers who came to us and said, this is an important thing. It's in our area. We'd like some support from all the CBs. Each individual community board supported. We supported it at borough board. And it really, I think, is a really nice way to show that you can take an idea, make it happen, and benefit everyone, right? So if you're talking to your neighbors in CBs 2 and 3 and 5 and 10 and 12, and it's something that you want to hear, please bring it back to us. Please ask. We're happy to have it. It will build better camaraderie and help us help our electeds. So that's one. 2, Onej is now officially, CB1. You should have seen her email come out for her official CB email address. So kudos, Onej. Thank you for being on board. Sorry you didn't know you were getting a call out tonight. And then I am asking all chairs. 2023 is the year that if you are sending a note as a chair of your committee to the board office for anything, or to me, for a topic on an agenda, for a problem with the committee, for an opportunity of a speaker you need help with from the office, support, resolution, make sure your co-chair is copied. Always, period. Whether you have 1, 2, 3, a temporary co-chair, whoever it is, make sure that they are copied, because we need to ensure that more than just us know what's going on. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I forget people left and right. Each of you have gotten an email in the last year I've been on the board going, whoops, sorry, including so-and-so. But it's one of the things that will also help the office when we're going forward, because if I want everybody to have robust, beautiful lives, and if, you know, Alice is away, then Wendy's here repping, right? Susan can't be there, Francis is there repping, right? Pat can't be there, Mariama's there. And it should be easy for all of the co-chairs to know what's going on. So that is my request looking ahead. We have some long-term planning things that we need to really take some serious look at for 2023. The mayor is into a city of yes. Let's start asking for the things we need yeses to. So let's start thinking a little bit broadly. On that note, Francis, I see your hand up. And if you're telling me you're leaving, I'm going to kill you. But so unmute yourself first, please. Francis, unmute yourself.
Oh,
Unless,
sorry.
hey.
Sorry. We have 5 items that are going to be presented tomorrow at the board meeting. The committee discussed them fully, and there's, you know, we agreed and the applicant agreed on most of the stipulations, and they have been signed. The only other thing that happened at the meeting was the whole big thing about the AIG building, and that was a long presentation, and I don't know whether that's going to be presented tomorrow at the board meeting, or I don't know what to do with that.
Pick a couple slides from his presentation, and you can present that basically what he
Yeah,
said.
they're looking to retrofit that building, the AIG, the old AIG building. A billionaire bought the building, and they're going to retrofit it into this multi-purpose use building with everything that we don't need. Because one of the things I asked them about was a supermarket. They were talking about they were talking and cleaners. They were talking about, you know, art studios and galleries and a membership and a pool on the top of the building, and a lot of things that
Are they making it
are
residential?
not none at all.
None. Okay.
No, it's going to be little conference rooms and places to have luxurious
Wouldn't be
meetings.
affordable
And,
anyway.
yeah, well, and I brought up the question about community space, and they're going to get back to me on that.
The presentation was so much more land usey than licensing like, though. It was like,
you think so?
I asked the question, like, well, where's the liquor? Like, what are you here for?
Every floor.
They talked about,
but that's the thing that every
they
floor.
tried to obscure what the liquor was, where the liquor was going to be. It seemed, I don't know.
Every floor will have liquor license, is what he
for
said.
the events, I guess.
So there was a restaurant, there was a club, there was event spaces, the galleries, the art galleries. They're looking to have liquorize.
Workshops
liquor license
for learning and tutoring and stuff like
That's
that.
what I mean. They were talking much more about learning and tutoring and art and whatnot, and no mention of liquor. I'm going.
Well, for the event, but that's a given, Mariama, because if they're going to have events there, they're going to, you know, there's going to be some alcoholic beverages. Onej?
Yes, I just wanted to chip in and mention that they have already submitted 4 notices for liquor license for January. I don't know what you, as a committee, want me to do with those.
Well, let's make sure
Yeah,
they get
garbage?
everything set.
No, I didn't mean that.
I think the first question, pardon me for interrupting, is when the hell do they think they're going to open? And we don't need to see the liquor licenses now or approve them. And I think we better get a little tough on that. And let's see, when they come back within a year of opening, we'll deal with it. That's my thought.
Or
Anyway,
what they're even presenting now.
Yeah, but why? They don't have a C of O. They don't have anything.
Okay.
Talk about it. Goodbye.
Yeah, we'll have Onej push back to find out opening dates and then see.
And then let's see where we are.
Exactly. Okay.
So we don't bring it up at all tomorrow.
I think you bring it up because
Or
it's
just
a
to-
presentation. It's a report. So people know what to
Okay.
pay attention and look out for as
That's
a part
all.
of community service. That's what we do. You have to keep the public informed.
Right. Right.
But that article that you shared with us, I think, was very informative about
Well,
was
let's-
that in the Broad Street?
I think it was a Real Deal article
think
about, with
It was I would if we could have that available for people in addition to a couple
we need
of
to
slides.
use his slides. We need to use what he presented to the public, and there's enough information
Okay.
in there that we can. Onej, would you reach back out to Kasiri, the 2 gentlemen who presented, and ask them for a
An
definitive
abbreviated version.
an definitive timeline on what floors are opening
Oh.
when, and we can use that with their slide as so people know what's coming.
Oh, they had a whole chart that had everything, didn't they? They had a whole
Yes,
chart.
there was a
that
chart.
had everything laid out till 2033. So
It's basically
yeah,
Pier
okay.
17 stuck in the AIG building, for lack of a better expression of it.
But
Basically.
affordable for artists who need a space to work. That's what they presented it
Yes.
as.
Yes, there will be art.
Right, on the ground floor in the back.
So we will see. Alrighty, Francis.
Okay, well,
I
that's it
assume
for
I got you,
licensing.
Onej. I assume we got you. And Lucian, did I miss anything from updating chairs for the office?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so the only other thing is I'm electing Pat, and whoever Pat would like to do it, to find a place in January if we don't end up with a COVID hell, that
That's
we
what
can
I
all
was gonna say.
that we can all gather to kick the new year off.
I mean, we
Okay.
had talked about it earlier, but now that the numbers are going up with, between the respiratory thing and the variant, so we can talk about it again. But yeah, Francis and who else was part of that committee?
I think Mimi was.
Mimi, yeah, exactly.
Bring your mask. Bring your mask.
Mask up.
Get a straw.
Maybe we'll meet outside in the middle of the winter.
Oh, why not?
You're right. When they say a cold front is coming in, right?
Yep. All right. Anybody have anything else before I close? Hearing nothing. It's 8:18. Happy holidays. I see you all
Happy
tomorrow.
holidays.
Oh,
Who's singing? I'm
Happy
impressed.
holidays.
Lucian, nice voice.
Very nice.
Very
Very nice.
Nice voice.
Oh,
So
they
now I
got
know we need a
little,
karaoke thing.
Yeah, there you go.